Good Baltimore morning, everyone. Sorry we're a touch late. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Kira Wisniewski, and I have the distinct pleasure and honor to be your host and co-organizer of Creative Mornings Baltimore. We're so excited to be coming to you live from Adorn Vintage Furniture on the ancestral land of the Piscataway people in Baltimore City. I'm so glad you could be with us here today, albeit virtually. But before we get started, I want to say out loud, Black lives continue to matter. Creative Mornings Baltimore is one of over 200 chapters around the world, and what unites us is that we all believe that everyone is invited and everyone is creative. We are one of dozens of global events happening today. We're happy to offer ASL from our friends Anessa and Sadie from HASA, supported by Eddie's of Roland Park, and going on with this theme this month of home. It's peak season for homegrown Maryland tomatoes, and Eddie's of Roland Park is proud to stock ripe, juicy local beefsteak tomatoes for only $2.99 a pound from Godfrey's Farm in Sudlersville, Maryland, and Schlegel Farms in Waldorf, Maryland. So big ups to Eddie's, and thanks for Eddie's of Roland Park for sponsoring our ASL. We're dropping in the chat right now a link to read live captioning of our program through Otter AI. If we're going to truly live to our mantra of everyone is invited, we're always going to have to keep trying to increase our accessibility. The pandemic, you're over it, right? Yeah, we are too. But we're so grateful that you're here with us either by YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter on Periscope. I know it's tempting to multitask right now, but I want to challenge you not to. Don't try to answer some emails right now. I'm hoping that you can spend this next hour or so just with us, uninterrupted. You deserve this. Give yourself permission to be here fully. And we know this can't replace the IRL event, and we also want to hear what you think of today's event. So please slide into those DMs, shoot us an email at baltimore@creativemornings.com. And please tag us at Baltimore_CM on your favorite social media platform. We'd love to see how this looks from where you're joining us this morning. And of course, engage with us in the chat. You can post your comments from either YouTube or Facebook, and then we can feature them right on the main feed. Like look at this. Hey. Creative Mornings Fort Worth is sending you love, Teri. And then we have Anita and Arlene who are joining us joining us on either YouTube or Facebook. So Arlene is on Facebook. Hi, Arlene. Oop, dropped her off the feed right now, but she's there. She's talking to you. And so is Anita. So thanks so much. Each month, we like to give some shine to someone truly special to the Creative Mornings community to read our Creative Mornings Manifesto. And this morning, we're delighted to be joined by Ellen Frost, owner of Local Color Flowers. Local Color Flowers is a Baltimore-based floral design business committed to responsible use of resources, supporting the local economy and promoting neighboring farms. They provide clients an environmentally and socially conscious alternative when purchasing flowers, sourcing all of their flowers from within 100 miles of Baltimore. If you haven't, you definitely should go visit them on Saturday mornings from 8 a.m. till noon, right by the Waverly Market. We couldn't be more grateful that they've been a sustaining partner since the relaunch in early 2019. Please welcome Ellen.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yay! Good morning. All right, I'm going to read. It's time. All right, everyone is creative. A creative life requires bravery and action, honesty, and hard work. We are here to support you, celebrate with you, and encourage you to make the things you love. We believe in the power of community. We believe in giving a damn. We believe in face-to-face connections, in learning from others, in virtual hugs and digital high fives. We bring together people who are driven by passion and purpose, confident that they will inspire one another and inspire change in neighborhoods and cities around the world. Everyone is welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, Ellen.
Yay.
Creative Mornings is run on an engine of generosity, made possible by our volunteers and fueled by companies that believe in this community, people and companies that give a damn. Creative Mornings Baltimore is 100% volunteer run, so shout out today's dream team, Mario, Winston, Henley, Sean, Sabina, Anita, Erlene, and April. And this is where we would have slides with the logos of our beloved partners, but we're going analog, and luckily we have some signs from you, courtesy of one of our sustaining partners, Alpha Graphics. So shout out to Adorn Vintage Furniture, Maryland Art Place, Local Color Flowers, Hassa, Eddie's of Roland Park, got you those summer tomatoes, Alpha Graphics, Pixelated Photo Booth, White Tea Co., and Impact Hub of Baltimore. I've said it many times, but on a very personal level, one of the greatest things about Creative Mornings Baltimore is the opportunity to work with some of these favorite brands. And we really want to encourage you to support them more now than ever. You can either buy directly from them. Also, if you don't have monetary means right now to support them, go like them or follow them on social media. Give them a positive review. Like, these local businesses that really make our community what it is really need your support right now. And we also want to give a shout out to our global sponsors sponsoring all 200 plus Creative Morning chapters. So thanks to Skillshare and MailChimp. We're dropping a link in the chat that lists all of our wonderful sustaining partners, as well as the folks we've been fortunate enough to work with since our reboot. And if you can, go ahead and support them. Ooh. Creative Mornings Kansas City chose July's home theme, and Allison Carrick Williams created the accompanying illustration. So we can see that real quick. Hey, there it is. Okay, now let's get to why we've gathered here today. Let me introduce you to our featured guests. Teri Henderson, born in Fort Worth, Texas, 1990, is a curator, co-director of WDLY, founding director of the Black Colleges Arts Incubator, and writer. Henderson holds a Bachelor of Science in Psychology from the Texas Christian University. She formerly held a curatorial internship at the Ghost Gallery in Seattle, Washington. During that time, she also helped launch the social media campaign for the nonprofit Access to Justice platform, Pop-Up Justice. She also previously served as the Art Law Clinic Director for Maryland Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts. Currently, Henderson is a staff writer for Be More Art, as well as the Connect and Collect Gallery Coordinator. In the fall of 2020, Henderson founded the Black Colleges Arts Incubator, a platform for researching, collecting, and archiving the works of Black college artists globally. Creative Mornings Baltimore, please help me welcome Teri Henderson to the Creative Mornings Highbridge stage. Yay!
Excuse me. In 2019, Solange Knowles released an album and a film entitled When I Get Home. In a statement after the release, she said, "The film is an exploration of origin, asking the question, how much of ourselves do we bring with us versus how much do we leave behind in our evolution?" I thought that opening with this quote with the woman born in Texas made the most sense for my presentation today. I'm from Fort Worth, Texas. I was born and raised and lived my life within a 10-minute radius of Fort Worth. After high school, I went to TCU. After graduation, I worked for TCU for 2 years, and I moved to Baltimore for law school because I wanted to get the fuck out of Texas, and I recognized that in order to grow, I needed to leave home. So there's a phrase back home: once a Texan, always a Texan. I've been blessed to travel extensively, but up until about 6 years ago, Texas was my only real home. I believe that the rugged pride that Texans have for Texas is similar to the same sentiments that Baltimoreans have for Baltimore. And I think perhaps for me, even when or if I move away, once a Baltimorean, always a Baltimorean. So I want you to consider, how many times have you moved? How many places have you lived? How many different spaces can you call home? In Giovanni's Room, James Baldwin said, "Perhaps home is not a place, but simply an irrevocable condition." And as he so often does, in these words, James Baldwin succinctly and elegantly states those ineffable things that I'm struggling to express. A few times since moving here, I've heard emphatically, "Teri, you're not from here." And each year, this sentiment seems to dissolve a little bit. Every day, Baltimore feels more intimate, more inviting, and more like home. Baltimore is home, and I love her. I love walking up North Charles Street. I love the way people say Teri like Turi. I love how it reminds me of Texas, and I love how much it is unlike Texas. And I love how black this city is. Baltimore is a city of hustlers and a place where you can make anything happen. Out of safety and necessity at times in the past, I built homes and people I've loved and escaped in art and experiences. Baltimore is a place for me where that escape has a physical and geographic paramour. I'm a writer and a curator, and what I love most about this city is the art. And I'm quite certain that if I hadn't landed in Baltimore, I would not be working in the arts. On an alternative timeline, there's another Teri who's a lawyer who isn't as wild or adventurous as I am. I moved to Baltimore in 2016 with a scholarship to UB Law. That endeavor didn't turn out well in a sense. I'm clearly not an attorney, but I'm so grateful that I accepted that scholarship because if I hadn't come here, I would never have fallen in love with this gritty and majestic place, my home. I originally thought that I would stay here for a year and then transfer somewhere else, but I got here and I got comfortable. And that's when I started going to the Crown. I would be there like 5 days a week because I didn't know anyone yet, and that was the way that I made friends. I have a theory that all of my relationships can be traced back to the Crown. In Baltimore, I realized that law was not my passion, and I realized how I found another home in the arts and in artists and in artistic endeavors. I interned at a gallery in Seattle during my 1L summer, and then I came back and I continued to make this place my home. In 2019, I started a nomadic curatorial platform with my friend Malcolm Lomax. I also interned at Maryland Volunteer Lawyers for the Arts, where I was the absolute worst intern, and now I'm on the board of directors. Hello, Adam. I also started freelancing for Be More Art, where I now work full-time as their gallery director and a staff writer. So I find hope in the artworks of my friends and the people that I love. I find home in the Crown, in Belvedere Market, in Mount Royal Tavern, in Artists and Craftsmen, at Sugarvale, at Connect and Collect, in my friend Malcolm's living room, at Alexa's dining room table, at Red Emma's, when I call my Aunt Peaches on my walk up North Charles Street and get coffee from Safeway, and in cyberspace on Baltimore Twitter. All of these places contain those irrevocable conditions that Baldwin described. So COVID has allowed a lot of time and space for reflection and introspection. The first few months of quarantine were deeply lonely for me. I live alone, and the forced isolation and confinement in my home and out of safety was unsettling. Like all of us, I spent time at home. I would go days without speaking words to other people. My communication was reduced to text messages and emails, and daily I would walk around the park at Mount Vernon. I joked that place became an extension of my living room. I think that being forced to be disconnected and away from all the things I fell in love with about Baltimore is what made me fully realize that this city, it is my home. And for the past few years, I've been trying to locate and define where and what is my home. When I interned in Seattle after my first year of law school, I remember longing for Baltimore. Whenever I leave and return to the city, I love the feeling of seeing the city skyline after my red-eye home, because those are cheaper. So think, who or what and where and why and with what do you make your home? Baltimore has been home because it has allowed me the space to become myself. And for so many years back home in Texas, I kept parts of myself hidden. Baltimore is also the first place where I've lived being fully out as a queer person, and there's even power in naming that freedom in this space, on this platform, and on this day. Forever, Baltimore is my home and will forever be ingrained in my memory. This city has deeply affected me. Baltimore has been critical. Baltimore has brought me friends that have become my family. Baltimore has allowed me to become more of myself. Baltimore has been laughter and tears, and I hope for years to come it will continue to echo these things for me. So all of that goes to say, I am grateful for my time on this planet and in this city. I am indebted to Baltimore for the connections that I've made, the relationships that I've built, and wherever I roam, I will carry Baltimore, Maryland with me in that space reserved directly next to my home of Texas. So I want to end by saying, thank you to Baltimore for being my home, and thanks y'all for listening.
Yeah! Yeah, Teri.
Thanks y'all.
Thank you so much, Teri. This so good. You
Thank
said
you.
so many good things that I
you.
wanna dig into a little bit more. But I also want to invite anyone who is watching at home or wherever you're joining us from to please go ahead and put your questions in the chat, and then I can use this fancy iPad to bring them on the screen and read them to Teri, and then we'll all be in this together. But I do want to start with, just a couple questions. So, hi.
Hi.
Hi. You
It's
want to breathe?
Yeah.
You good?
It's good. It's a little hot.
Yeah.
But we're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
We're ready.
So in your talk there, you said, I want you to consider how many times you've moved, how many places you've lived, how many different spaces can you call home.
Mm-hmm.
What is your response to those questions?
About 30 places I've called home.
God damn.
Not like states or like geographic locations, but different like spaces that I've lived in.
How many places have you called home in Baltimore?
6. I had to think about it.
You mentioned that Baltimore is the first place you've like really felt free to be yourself. Is that something you think that's about Baltimore, or do you think that is something about leaving?
I think it's both. I think like part of me like leaving Texas and coming here was like a fresh start, like cutting ties with like things that were not healthy for me and relationships, and then being here, like Baltimore's just such a creative space and like allows you to decide who you want to be, like not in this weird way, but like this is how I want my life to be. So I don't know if I would be the same version. Well, I wouldn't be the same Teri if I lived in like Seattle or New Orleans. So yeah, we're out here.
You mentioned finding home in different people.
Yeah.
Can you speak more to that?
Yeah, I think that when I got the assignment, I guess, for the talk, I was like, how do I talk about home in a way that makes people not think about just like a physical space? And I know we talked a little bit like during dress rehearsal about how you can like find home in other people, and it just changes based on where you are in your life. So like right now it's just people that are like affirming and supportive and mostly nice and creative. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Is there a common thread in all these places and people you call home, or do you think it's more of like what you needed in the moment?
I think it's what I needed in the moment, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you speak more to that?
Bad relationships. So yeah, but that's the thing about it's like an incubator for creativity. That's why I like being here.
You did mention a little bit about talking about the pandemic and how we were all physically in our homes a lot this past year. What do you think of the concept of home in that context?
I feel like being forced to be like in my house and like not go out and do fun things made me decide that I was like, okay, like I want to like, I think it's like nesting. Like I want to like get a nice couch instead of whatever was on sale on Craigslist. So it's like, it just makes me like, I hung up artwork for the first time since I moved here. Things like that. Just trying to make my spaces inspiring and comfortable as possible.
Tell us about this couch.
It's so great. I got it from Wayfair. It's green velvet. It folds out, so if anybody spends the night, they have a bed. So there's that.
And I hear you also got a TV for the first
I did, yeah. I bought a TV. Like that was the first time I bought a TV in years, and I was like, okay, like, this is why people have TV. Like I get it, and now I watch 90 Day Fiancé every day. There's a channel. There's a whole Amazon channel that's just not.
It's so addicting.
Yes.
What season are you on right now?
I've seen all of them. Is it like The Other Way or Happily Ever After? Listen, we can talk about that another time. That's my show.
So if you have questions about 90 Day Fiancé, like Teri's ready
or
for
Sex
them.
and the City also. Those two.
What do you think of the term Smaltimore?
It's true. I heard it. Yeah, it's true. I think that, again, like I haven't lived my adult life in Texas aside from school, but it's just like coming here, there is like always like those degrees of, is it like 6 degrees of separation? That's before my time. It's like everybody like knows somebody that knows somebody. Like even Mario, like he knows my best friend and her partner and like also Adam. So, which is can be a little unsettling because he'd be like, yeah.
I'm all up in your business.
Yes. And I think social media also amplifies it. And I also think like the art community is even more like close knit.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing or somewhere in between?
In between. Definitely in between. Yeah.
Because I feel like there's some people who kind of reject the term Smaltimore.
Yeah. For me, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yes.
For better or for worse.
Yeah,
it is.
But that also like helped me build community. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You had mentioned in your talk when you're talking about the people and the places where you've called home, you mentioned the Crown and how you used to frequent there. And I understand you're working on a project with Be More Art right now. Can you tell us
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah, it's crown selfies. So like Kara Ober is my boss, and we were talking about like how we missed the crown like before they reopened, and we were like, everybody has like a crown selfie. So we're crowdsourcing photos that people have taken in the crown, like especially like the bathroom selfies. Have you ever been in there? Yeah. So if you have one, please send it to me. And then I did like a Q&A with the curator there, and it should come out next week. So anybody, send me your selfies or hashtag crown selfies, please.
Blurry photos.
That's fine.
I feel like the crown is like a young people space. Just like feeling real old about it. But anyway, that's just
I've
me.
seen people's dads in there. Like that's definitely happening. For sure.
People's dads just showing up at the crown.
They are with their kids. I'm not lying.
Yeah, I love it. What other questions do people have? I feel like people are being very nice in the chat, saying things like, I'm proud of you, you got this, and
Aww.
sending,
Hi, Isaiah.
star eyes emojis and heart eyes emojis.
Aw, thanks, y'all.
And like little like stardust. But where are your questions, y'all? Oh, here we go. We got one from Johnny.
Okay.
So Johnny's joining us on YouTube, and they ask, do you have any tips for finding a community when moving to an entirely new area?
I think it's just find your interest and keep going to the same space, and then people will start. Like that's what happened. I just like kept going certain spaces. Social media is nice. Like if you have a like neighborhood group, like Mount Vernon neighbors, to meet people, and then just don't be afraid to talk to people. Like it's definitely different here than it is back home in Texas. Like I think I got here and I was like, hi, and then people were like, okay. But now it's I don't know, just try. Don't be afraid to ask people to like have coffee, stuff like that. But it's terrifying, but you got this.
Here is a question coming from Erlene on Facebook. She asks, you mentioned folks making you feel that you are not from Baltimore, but that no longer happens. How did you convince Baltimore to accept you?
It still happens. Somebody that I know who's a colleague of mine was like, when you're in Baltimore for 5 years, you can start saying that you're like fully entrenched, you're in Baltimore. It still happens. But I also get like, oh, I thought you like were born here, and I'm like, I was not. Like I love Baltimore, but I wouldn't claim that this is my birthplace. 'Cause like I said, I have like roots in other places.
I do think it's something, and we talked about this when we were talking about this talk, about how when people ask here in Baltimore, like, what school did you go to? Like they mean your high school.
Yep.
Yes. And if you can't name a high school, then you get a little side eye.
Yep. And I'm like, Lake Worth High School in Fort Worth, Texas. Yeah. Where did you go to school? Poly or City?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. There's like some BSA people in the room right now. Here's another question. Mm-hmm. Have you lived in DC? What's your impression of DC's art scene community in comparison to Baltimore?
I have not lived in DC. My friend Todd Van Almen has a gallery there, so that's really where when I go to DC, it's to go to see his shows. That's one of my missions for the next couple of years. Like when things become more open, is to kind of like work on seeing more shows there. So I mean, where did I go? Some bar in Georgetown, also. But other than that, no, I haven't. I need to, because I love the mark. It's only $8.
Yeah. The next question is coming from Emilio. Hey, Teri, how can your family and fans help support the work you do in the Be More Art community?
Read, not just like support us, subscribe to Be More Art. Kara will be happy I said that. Subscribe to Be More Art. There's a link on our website. And then just like, continue to send us stuff. Like sometimes I get emails and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was happening, so now I can go. And just read my stuff. If you hate it, let me know so I can try to be a better writer.
Oh.
It's fine.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think there's but I would also like, gonna extend your invitation for people reaching out to you, like reaching out to you for things that might be happening, for productive criticism.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
And also for kudos. Like
Yeah.
when send Teri her flowers when you see something that she's written that you like. Like make sure she gets her flowers too.
Yeah.
So Alpha is asking from YouTube, how do you maintain yourself while adopting to a new space? And also mentions that you're great.
Aw, thank you so much. What do I don't know. That's hard. I have to like ground myself a lot and like spend time alone because I'm like an introverted extrovert. So like, but COVID was too much. But like going out and doing things, I have to like take like the weekend to just like be at home, be still. Talking to my family back home. I talk to my Aunt Peaches every morning when I'm walking to work. Yeah, it's just trying to like, and I'm getting better about maintaining those connections since COVID. That's something that I'm grateful for. It like forced me to be like, oh, this person texted me a week ago. Let me text them back. We're working on that. Yeah.
Breathe.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, you're also getting some more smiley emojis are happening. Just all sorts of love is coming, which is so nice. But we're also Leandro wants to know more about Peaches.
Oh, she's awesome. I hope she's watching. So Peaches is from Arkansas, and she's amazing. She's always like when I'm having a bad day, she's like, okay, like make sure you like smell good and put on red lipstick and you'll feel better. And I'm like, okay, you're right. She's hilarious. She's also like, she loves Uncle Nearest whiskey, and she's my support system. Like she's one of those people in my like blood family that has always supported me. So I love her. She's the best.
It's so great to have that kind of support.
My mom passed away when I was like 15, so she's like I guess the closest like maternal figure that I have. Yeah, she's a bomb. Hi, Peaches. I hope you're watching. I'll send you the recording.
Yeah. I hope Peaches is watching too. So shout out to Peaches. So the next question, also coming from Facebook, is how did COVID-19 impact your community building efforts in Baltimore?
Deeply. I think like even with WDLY, we haven't done an event since COVID started, just because like all of our events are based on like bringing people together. So we took a break, and that's something that I think about a lot. I do miss that platform, but it was hard, and I had to like learn how to do like park hangouts, so, like back in the day where like don't leave your house, like sitting 6 feet apart. We just had it was hard. It's really hard. I just pray to God that we don't go back to lockdown. Lord, can't handle it.
Malcolm wants you to talk more about the Blackcologist book.
Oh yes. So I'm working on a book. So I have the platform Blackcologist. It's about like amplifying and collecting Black collage artists, and the book features a bunch of contemporary Black collage artists, and they all get a spread, and it's going to be like a nice, heavy. I'm so excited, and I'm excited for the artists to have it and like see their work in a historical context, because I think that it's the first one specifically about Black collage artists. It's not like a historical thing, like the Romare Bearden Reader. It's not like that. It's just like, okay, like these people, you open it, and these are all like the Black people making collage art. Not all of them, but this cross section. Is
it regionally focused, or is it?
No, the whole world. Nice. Yeah, like we have people from everywhere. I'm really excited. It's been a lot of work, more work than I thought, but I'm excited. I never thought I would write a book.
Do you have a timeline for release?
Yeah, it comes out in November. It's in time for Christmas.
How can people learn more, or pre-order, or support
follow
that?
Black Collages on Instagram, and then when the pre-order link goes up, I'll put it there. But yeah, just stay tuned. Yeah.
Great. What other questions do folks have? Do folks in the room have a question? Erin, do you have a question?
What, aside from the crown, what was your favorite first thing that you did in Baltimore? Like when you first got here for law school, what was the thing that?
Going to Red Emma.
Wait, hold on, I'll repeat it. So Erin, who is in the room, a past speaker, go check out her talk on Muse. But she asked, aside from the crown, what are some other places that really spoke to you when you first got to Baltimore?
So when Red Emma's was on North Avenue, I would spend so much time there, studying and like also not studying. So Red Emma's, I don't really go to the new location, but I'm excited for the Waverly location. And then the BMA, it was special for me to go there and just be like, I was like, okay, like, I think I saw like, just like the Generation show was incredible. That didn't just happen, but that was just another moment where I was like, this is amazing. Like so many artists that I've been obsessed with not my whole life, but for a while, I was able to see their work. I like going to Fells rarely, but when I go, it's always a fun experience. I usually go with my friend Noah. He's taken me there twice. And I like, of course, the restaurants are amazing. I love Tilted Row. Where else? La Calle is awesome. It's like the closest to like any kind of good like Mexican food I've had. Back home, what else? And then just like Auto Bar, love that, love it for what it is. Love Auto Bar.
Thanks, Henley. Henley put the Black Collegeist Instagram on the screen.
Thank you.
Shout out to Henley for that. Arlene over on Facebook is asking, what's your favorite James Baldwin book?
Oh wow, Another Country.
Nice. That was quick though. Yeah. You're like, yeah, got it.
My friend Ben gave me that book when I was like super depressed, like bad, and it was just like something that united us. Like it's after I moved here, and then I created a show about Afro Surrealism last year that was called Another Country. So James Baldwin is everything. Like, give him his flowers.
Yeah.
He's everything, yeah. Everybody should read James Baldwin.
Another question is, as a Black woman, how empowering is the business financing aspect of Baltimore's art scene?
How is the what, sorry?
How empowering is the business financing aspect of Baltimore's art scene?
I don't understand that word. Like how empowering is it working on the, it's I mean, I really like my job at Be More Art, and I always try to highlight people that look like me. That's kind of my mission, is to uplift, like the same thing as WDOY, like uplifting Black and brown and queer creatives. But I mean, that's not all that I read about. So just kind of like that, and then just trying to network, all that jazz.
A question that Alpha has is, in one word, so this might be, I don't know. You're so good at words though. In one word,
Thank you.
Baltimore is?
Just one. Everything. Period.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we love that.
That's a new profile for you. Teri Henderson, good at words.
It's true.
Thank you.
Let me sign the letter.
I appreciate
Oh, we got a rephrasing of that question. How difficult is it to get support and financing for Black women, for people of color?
I mean, I think it's hard. You have to look, which is like daunting it's like, if you don't know how to do it, it's hard. But they're like really good grants. Like the Rubies is fantastic, and what else? Yeah, you just have to kind of look at Be More Art. We got some stuff on there, I'm sure. There's a section.
Speaking of Be More Art, a question from Kara.
Hi, Kara.
If you had unlimited funds, what are 3 works of art you would buy?
Oh my God.
Damn.
Oh my God. Oh my God. A Lorna Simpson original piece. Something that I could make a lot of money from, like by flipping it. Let me think about this. Like a Jeff Koons, I would sell that real quick. And so Lorna Simpson, Jeff Koons. Oh my God, this is hard. And then a Romare Bearden. Like, I'm really into collage right now, and it just would be amazing to have his work wherever I live, wherever home is. Like, that would be cool. Thanks, Kara, for putting me on the spot.
Kara on Facebook has asked, what are some things that you see in your home in Baltimore that remind you of your Texas roots?
Oh, so I actually just got a postcard from Aunt Peaches yesterday with bluebonnets on it, and it made me cry because I miss seeing them. What else? I think I have like, all my like TCU t-shirts. I have a TCU blanket because I still like TCU, go Frogs. What else? Just things like, and then just things like books that people have given me. Like I have books that my friend Ben has given me, who's back home. Just those kind of things, photos. Nothing like too special. Like I don't have like a Texas flag in my living room yet. Yet. That's actually a good idea.
I just also want to note that Susie said, "Ugh, Jeff Koons."
This is to make money. It's an enterprise, Susie. It's for all of us.
It's for all of us.
Yes.
To which Kara laughed. Good to see the Be More Art fam just like in the feed today. Happy birthday, Kara. If people have more questions, we're ready for them. Henley was like, yes, I do.
One of the things that about Baltimore that reminds you of Texas? To rephrase that question a little bit.
That's a good question. Like people being like, I am from Baltimore, and I like Texans are always like, yeah, I'm from Texas, like, and we're also Texans are really like, especially now, like anti-Californians and like anti like people who are moving in and like raising like Dallas. I can't afford to live there anymore. Like when I left, it was a lot cheaper, and I think that Baltimore has that similar like, is it rugged individualism? Is that the term where you're just like, this is where I'm from, Baltimore pride. I hate crabs, but there's like crabs everywhere. What I'm trying to think what else reminds me back home. I really like the aquarium. There's a really good aquarium in Dallas that reminds me of the one in Baltimore. The music scene is fantastic in Dallas, and it is amazing here too. I like the museums are great in both places, but the Modern in Fort Worth has a really good contemporary art collection, and the BMA is working on like developing theirs. They just got some really good acquisitions that you can look online and see like they're collecting work from it by local artists, so that's cool.
Well, Teri, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning.
I did not pass out.
You did so great. Yeah. Shout out to not passing out.
Yeah.
Shout out to home and
Yeah.
in many places and many
you.
definitions.
Thank
And
you.
shout out to you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. We do want to give everybody at home the opportunity for a selfie moment.
Yeah.
So, Mario, can you actually zoom in on Teri here? Yeah,
Oh, Lord.
that's you, friend.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, so then go ahead, get your device out, tag us on social media, take your picture. Are we doing some in the room too? Yeah, we're gonna do some in the room. So,
Aaron.
yeah, Mario is taking the picture, so is Aaron. Hey. Hopefully you're taking it at home too.
Yay.
So thank you again for that. And then I want everyone to please go ahead and save the date for our next talk, which is going to be on August 27th with Shauna Potter. She is going to be talking about the theme of release.
Ooh.
And as the front woman of a punk band, she said in our initial talk that like screaming in front of people is a great release that she gets to have all the time. So we're excited to be hearing more from her. And then I just want to close in the way that we've been closing and just doing some collective breaths together. I don't know about y'all, but like this week has low-key been killing me. But here we are. I'm happy to be here with you. So if you want to just sit comfortably, stand comfortably, like whatever feels good. And then we'll just do 3 collective breaths together. So go ahead and breathe in and out and in and out. And one more time, in and out. Thank you again so much for being here. We know that this can't replace the magic of in-person events, but we hope that you feel connected and part of this community. We will see you next month, and hopefully you can go get vaxxed if you haven't already. Go. Thanks, y'all.